Hello. So I looked it up, and apparently it's this console. So personally, I didn't use this console, to be honest, because I thought, it's like an, how should I say it, like an admin console, or like a debug console or something. Jesus. That's why I didn't use it, But apparently that's the console. Also, I need to sleep. Can I sleep here? I don't think there is any bed, so I have to do it outside. Or travel back to Sanctuary after this, I guess. 20 start times, blah blah blah. Do not touch the fuse box unless your intent is to disable the water and power. Okay. For centuries, the hockey mask has been associated with homicide, referred to as a security risk or a flag of psychopathy. Few remember why anymore. Okay. Wait, what? After thousands of hours watching my 20th and 21st century horror film collection, I've concluded there are certain tropes that need to die. Let's split up that way we no longer outnumber the threat we are dealing with. Running upstairs, know your exits. When a mass killer is chasing you, heading out the front door to safety is always the prudent move. Mirror scares. I wonder why they showing us the scene of the protagonist opening a medicine cabinet. Based on a true story. No, not really. Okay. So, yeah, this is creepy AF. Intro to science. Educational material. Interesting, okay. Uh-oh. No! What the fuck? Oh great! Fuck! Oh fuck, I'm really naked. Hello! Oh shit, what do I have with me? Like even my... Okay, I got my food, water... Shit. That's not good. Great. I thought I could disarm basic tracks. Damage grenade. Oh, great. Ooh, medical journal. Nice. Rule breakers. Okay.
Need water.
Oh shit, she has one of these collars.
Ain't looking for trouble, I hope.
If this is my life, kill me now.
Sounds a little bit like a ghoul.
Need another bottle.
You better watch your back.
What happens if you don't find the lockpicks? I mean, I have my advanced stuff, right? So I could probably, like, break it down.
It's your business to know what you're putting in your child's bloated belly. That's why sugar bombs are engineered to please both your child and not damage his or her tender, tender brain.
They taste so amazing. And they'll make you remember everything you read. Quick, absorb that book. Of course, Mother.
Sugar bombs are made with nutrients and stimulants and nutrients, weaving taste and performance together in a potent breakfast cocktail that'll provide a day-to-day breakthrough in your child's life.
I can see the future.
Sugar bombs may last up to 12 hours. After that, it's anyone's guess. Buy 2 boxes and get a third half free until supplies last. Cereal has seldom been so crispy, so fresh when it hits your stomach, blasting your brain with 5,000 taste volts of volcanic delight. Sugar bombs are built from the ground up to prime you for launch.
Okay, Jesus. What is that? Only for the door? Okay. Okay, let's save, because I'm not sure if I can. It's locked. Requires terminal.
What the?
Is that for the bombs? No.
Nothing. Damn.
When do I level up? So I can disarm birds and shit. It's lockpick, no master thief, right? Yeah, basic traps. Oh shit, that's way too far off. Let's save. I'm not sure. Can I even? Felon's terminal password.
Something out there.
Oh, this is break locks and this is destroy lock. Eh, okay. So when you crouch you get different options.
Who's there? No hope for you now. Back the hell off!
Get him, dog. Asshole. I do take the sunglasses though. Sorry, hiccups. There's another one. Okay, some water, that's good. Purified water, carrots, potatoes. Oh, that's only that though, yeah. When a new fish arrives, they are to be stripped, disinfected and subjected to a full cavity inspection to ensure they aren't smuggling anything in. This should take place in a full view of the other slaves for maximum psychological effect. All personal possessions are to be catalogued, boxed up and stored. The traps are for show. Most of them should be kept deactivated, but please remember which ones are live. R.I.P. Butch. Radio ads should be played over the intercom at no longer than 10-minute intervals to ensure continual disruption of prisoners' sleep patterns. Oh, that's not good. Remember, the concept of a prison is quite simple. Freedom, movements and access to basically everything is restricted. But it should be so much more. It's a place where dignity, privacy and control are given up to guards, where isolation and boredom can drive someone insane, and where the simplest of necessities should seem like luxuries. We are in the business of slave trading, not prisoner rehabilitation. That's the word, man, jeez. Provide the bare minimum for survival until we can find a buyer for this life, that's all, Rainer. Lockdown. In response to the latest prisoner uprising, please do the following. Execute the male raider slaves. Finding buyers for this latest batch is taking too long anyway. Execute one of the females at random in front of the others. Chain the rest up for the next week and reduce food and water rations by half. Use some Abraxa to remove their graffiti from the walls in the upstairs bathroom. Thank you, Rainer.
Whoa, was that a...
I don't know if they are real. Okay, damage. Wait, is that... Can you use their grenade actually, or is that... Okay, it's broken. Okay, so they are fake.
Value is relative, but relatively what is value? At Fallon's, each price represents our pact with the customer to bring things down to a manageable level of value that also takes luxury into account. Mass production techniques may have brought things up to speed, but it's time-honored, well-worn, oak and varnish tradition that really keeps things classic. Ah, that's progress.
I want to save the other stuff for like harder doors, basically. The advanced stuff.
Who?
Hello.
Go!
Where's heart attack? Like, why is it not working? Bash power attacker is mouse 3. Oh, I have to hold it down better.
No one.
Oh, okay. Do I have anything for healing? Why did it have to have... Oh, that's 2077. Why did it have to happen on a Saturday? Only a few dozen of us made it in. The Abernathys, Hutchins, Shaw, Finch, Warwick, Sullivan, Hargraves, Pembroke, my family and a few others. If it were Friday, there would be dozens more of us. Could it have been worse, I suppose? It's just dumb luck that Candace decided to schedule Bring Your Kids to Work Day on a Saturday. She ended up saving us all. In hindsight, I feel like a piece of garbage for firing her. We got enough food and supplies to wait this thing out. Running short on beds, everybody's wondering when we can move back upstairs. We are in trouble if the water purifier hooked up to the wall breaks down. Need to find a backup source. Everybody's dead. We haven't ventured out far, still too worried about the radiation, but in the areas where we've looked, we haven't found survivors. As much as we are prepared, we weren't counting on being the only ones. We may have underestimated this thing. We are assuming the attacks were predominantly centered on military targets and population centers. Being in Concord instead of Boston helped us not get vaporized by the initial nuclear blast or bombarded by fallout. The way I figured it, the biggest cause of death wouldn't be the nuclear explosions, but rather the collapse and sudden disappearance of support services, food, medicine, and the myriad of things we used to take for granted. We are alright on food and water for the time being, been using graphene oxide to purify the water, and in addition to our food stores, been trying our hand at growing food using some aquaponic systems that cycle nutrients between plants and fish. Morale is understandably low. Main thing right now is just educating everyone about radiation. Sure, it can kill if someone is exposed to too much, but more often than not it just causes cancer or birth defects. After the initial explosion, the biggest risk to a person's health is radiation found in debris lifted into the fireball during the explosion, as well as the residues of the weapon itself. This can travel hundreds of miles, so in the aftermath of an attack, even from a significant distance, you're supposed to stay inside for up to 2 weeks, but we planned for a month just to be safe. Radiation can last in the atmosphere or in the environment around it for a decade or longer, but after 2 weeks it will have decayed to about 1% of its initial radiation level. Even with massive surface nuclear detonations, the levels of radioactive fallout drop by 90% for every 7-fold increase in time. So if the level at 1 hour post-blast is 1000 rads an hour, then after 7 hours it will be about 100 rads, and then after 2 days and 1 hour, 10 rads an hour. By 2 weeks and 7 hours it's down to 1 rad an hour, and by 100 days, 1 hour, it's at 100 millirads an hour. After a little under a year it's at 10 millirads an hour, which is not a whole lot higher than the natural background level in some places pre-war. Interesting. By 13 to 14 years post-detonation, the radiation levels will be down to 1 millirad an hour, which is about half what you get during a plane ride. Still, we've been wearing hazmat suits when venturing out, and no longer term we've got plenty of masks so as not to breathe in dust. The more precautions the better. We're keeping an eye on symptoms of our scavengers: dizziness, disorientation, weakness, fatigue, hair loss, bloody vomit and stools, poor wound healing and low blood pressure. So far so good though. Needed supplies, so we decided to venture out further and loot what's left of the world. Most of the folks have stayed behind, but I've always been curious and to experience what it's like to participate in actual anarchy, so I tagged along on the journey. The first spot we hit was a local liquor store, stored a nice array of alcohol. In hindsight, we might have had a bit too much to drink while we were there, threw a Molotov cocktail at the counter for kicks and ended up turning the whole liquor store into a structure. Fire. Next stop we hit was the electronics store by Lexington. Only took one brick to make their front window drop. They still had some good stuff, and we finally got a decent PA system for the bunker. What do they mean with PA, like power armor? Or something else? When we returned home to unload everything, it dawned on us that we could use new home furnishings to convert the upstairs office space into a residential area. So once again we ventured out, but much further this time, to loot the Fallon's flagship store. The irony was not lost on us. Our living accommodations have been much more comfortable since then, but the expedition came at a hefty price. 4 of us didn't make it back. We ran into what can only be described as a group of feral ghouls. However, it did finally answer the question of whether we're alone out there. We'll need to be more cautious going forward and stay closer to the home in more familiar surroundings. Wasn't that like 200 years ago, right? Yeah. R.I.P. Gary Fallon, who passed away yesterday at the age of 88. A true leader to the end. He outlived almost all of the original employee shelter residents. He is survived by his children Jesse and Rebecca, 4 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild and 1 grateful community. Save. I wish I would have like a stim pack instead of adrenaline injectors and stuff. Master key, okay. Oh, that's 2126. With my father's passing, leadership of the community has fallen to me. My first order of business was to change the scouting policy. I understand why father established the close to home radius, and perhaps it made sense nearly 50 years ago, but it's time to move forward. We've started venturing out much further, looking to form new settlements so that all our eggs aren't in one basket, so to speak. We found a few promising locations. Farm by the power line tower. Farming. Honest labor, they call it. Bunch of brutal nonsense. Best know what you're doing and be prepared for failure. But the Abernathys seem hell-bent on making a go of it. I just say I had something on my glass. They are gonna move in there next month. It's still close by, just a short walk to the west if things don't work out. Farm under the ruined overpass. It's a bit of a trek from here, but it could make a nice settlement someday. 2 of the Finch brothers have decided to lay down roots there. Farm under the other ruined overpass. It started as a joke that turned into a bet. We are gonna see if these prissy robots we've got hanging around home base and getting on everyone's nerves can farm. I give it a month tops. Waste treatment plant farm. Waste treatment plant. Isn't that what is where the super mutants are? I tried to talk the Warwicks out of it. It's all the way to the other end of the Commonwealth and the processing tanks are foul beyond belief. But they convinced the fertile soul is worth the risk. Fenway Park. The place is an absolute mess. Cleaning it up would be a monumental task. Some are convinced it's worth it in the long run. The Great Green Jewel. Cleanup took over 5 years and if you ask me the place still looks like a dump. I have my doubts whenever they'll ever get to looking good, but nonetheless it's what some people are calling home now. It does have its advantages. Centrally located, well fortified, and the baseball field is an ideal trading hub and all things we lack here in Concord. Who knows if it could turn out into a prosperous community and a safe haven for settlers. This Great Green Jewel nickname is overreaching. A little polishing turd would be more accurate. Okay. Battle of Diamond City. A horde of super mutants attacked Diamond City yesterday. Would have been a disaster if it weren't for a group of militia guys calling themselves the Minutemen. One guy on their squad, Murphy, ended up single-handedly saving a whole group of school children. Paranoia about ferals is high as ever, but maybe a ghoul saving the day will make folks a little more tolerant of coexisting in the future. CPG. With the formation of the Commonwealth Provisional Government and the gradual migration of Concord Fallon's residents to Diamond City and surrounding areas, we've decided to repurpose the building. You can't have a government without a justice system, and you can't have a reasonable justice system without prisons. The bunker here seemed like the obvious choice for the prison. Murphy of Diamond City battle fame has agreed to move in and become warden for the time being, while continuing to serve in the Minutemen as needed. With the dissolution of the Commonwealth Provisional Government, we've got no tax money to fund the prison. Murphy still believes in the cause, but to make ends meet he's told us the operation needs to become self-funding. Slave trading seems like the only option. The alternative, releasing rapists and murderers back into the Commonwealth, is far less attractive. At least this way we've got them out of the Commonwealth. I'm getting too old for this warden crap, been doing it too long. Call this whenever you want, sabbatical, retirement or an extended vacation, but it's time for me to take a walkabout. Gonna satisfy the itch for the open road and the space over the horizon. Think I might head south for a while. I'm leaving Reinhardt in charge. We've built doing a good thing here. It may be brutal, but it's necessary. Don't fuck it up. Reinhardt, okay, that's the lady that's boss now, I guess. Geez, Reinhardt, not gonna cut it on your turf. It's your prison now. But now that I'm back, is there something you need to talk about, Murphy? Yeah, the fucking corpse decorating, right? Okay. Okay, now I guess it's the junk. That's taking quite a bit of carry weight, I guess. Let's see, I think we were at like 175. Okay, so what is so heavy? Huh. Maybe like all the food and water and stuff? Let's put some stuff back.